Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Roll it.
Okay, let's slate. Ask a Mexican, part 1.
I'm driving, I'm going, where the hell is Main Street?
Because all the street signs were knocked down, so you didn't know where you were. The intersections looked all alike. Trees were scattered everywhere. Cars were overturned. And the humidity made your eyes pop out.
The other day I'm watering outside and our neighbor, who happens to be Hispanic, he says to me,
So, you don't care for the salami? What a man pig.
well, I told him, no thank you, I'm a vegetarian.
Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today is one of the founding members of the performance group Culture Clash, the most produced Latino theater troupe in the United States. Wow. He acts, he writes, and he has a great resume. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Herbert Siguenza. Herbert, good to have you here today, my friend. Good to have you. Greetings and welcome to The Actor's Choice.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Indeed, have to show that video. That, of course, is Culture Clash. A lot of people don't understand, what is Culture Clash? What is it?
Wow, Culture Clash, I think, is now a Latinx institution. We've been around 36 years. We were founded in San Francisco in 1984. Imagine Reagan was in office. That's how long we've been. And, we're basically satirists. We've been together, like I said, for 36 years, just reporting back to America, what we see. We go around America and we interview people and we bring back their stories. And that's how we've made a living.
Wow.
For these 36 years.
Wow. How did you guys first get started? What was the brainchild? What made you do this?
Well, back in 1984, there was really, the regional theaters were not producing Latinx plays. They were not calling us up. So, we were unemployed actors and we just said, let's create our own group. So we created a small group called Culture Clash, which was a bunch of comedians, people out of work. And we just started writing sketches and did stand-up comedy and, impersonations, music. And we became a sensation up in the Bay Area. And then, little by little, we moved down to LA in 1990. And that's kind of where we got discovered, got a TV deals and things like that. And we just, we just kept going. We can't seem to break up because there doesn't seem to be any other group like us that is reporting back and satirizing the society that we live in. I mean, immigration in 84, immigration now is worse than it was in 84, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the subjects don't go away. So we just feel a responsibility to stay together and talk about what's going on.
Got you. They say give credit where credit is due. Who are the other founders with you?
Yes, Richard Montoya is one of the founding members, and Rick Salinas. So the three of us have been together for a long time. Yeah, we're like brothers, and they live up in LA. I live in San Diego now. I'm now the playwright in residence at the San Diego Repertory Theater, and I've been here for about 4 years, and I'm going to stay another couple of years. But I love it here in San Diego. I don't think I want to leave. The theater territory here is really nice. It's really nice.
What's that, the 7th ranked city in America?
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
Pretty big. Getting nice.
A lot of sailors out there. Oh, yeah. A lot of sailors.
Yeah. We have big theaters here. We have the Globe and we have Playhouse and the San Diego Rep.
Got you. I understand that on May 5th, 1984, that was the founding date of your organization. Very significant to Mexican Americans. Can you please expand?
Well, that was was kind of a joke too, because Cinco de Mayo is not even the independence of Mexico. It was a battle against the French forces in Mexico.
Yes.
And Cinco de Mayo during the 80s was like more of a wet T-shirt Corona drinking beer contest. Mexicans don't even really celebrate Cinco de Mayo. It's the white people that are celebrating. So it became a commercial thing, you know. So I think it's kind of appropriate that we appropriated Cinco de Mayo and made it our anniversary. That's when we were born in San Francisco. Yeah.
Gotcha. You know, Herbert, the one word in the name of your organization that I love to talk about and endorse is the word culture. Culture, very, very important.
It's very important.
Yes.
You know, people don't realize, and the reason we're called Culture Clash is because there's culture clashes even among Latinos. You know, I mean, a Cuban is very different than a Mexican. You know, historically, ethically, you know, just ethnically, and just we just all have different stories. All these countries have different histories, and different pasts, and so we have to recognize that.
Gotcha. We have a slide that they put up called "Culture Clash Still in America." Can you put that one up, Tony?
Well, we've been doing this. Yeah, we've been doing this show called Culture Clash in America. Like I said, 20 years ago, we wrote this show. Mm-hmm. So we revived it recently. Before the pandemic, we revived it. And so we said, well, Culture Clash still in America. There's still here. Clash in America.
Ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, it's not going away. So we're not going away until America gets better.
What's your feelings about some of the current events that's going on?
Well, let's just say it's gotten a little better since January 20th, right? I feel like there's a weight that's been lifted off me, you know. I was just so angry and depressed for 4 years, you know. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I would wake up every morning and go, what did he do? What did he say? You know, and at least now, you know, there's some kind of normalcy, but, it's not, the bigger problems are not going to go away, you know. They're not going to go away just like that, you know, just because we have a new administration. I think there's some deep problems in America that have to be really resolved before we can advance. And so I think that's the role of the artist, is not to let anyone off the hook. And that's what we're just reporting back, saying, you know, this is not right. You know, this is not right. This is right. This is not right.
At the Golden Globes last night. What's your take?
Well, you know what? I didn't see it, but I did see the list of winners, and I was very happy to see the diversity of the winners. You know, you had the Chinese American woman who won, right, for directing. You had you just had a variety. It looked like America finally. You know, it really did. Latinos are nowhere to be seen, but you know, I'm used to that. You know, I really am. I mean, I just feel like we're virtually invisible in Hollywood. You know, I think the latest polls, the latest data says that we're under 3% representation in Hollywood, even though we're 18% of the population. So I think there's a lot of work to do there.
You get a chance to tour to a lot of places. Where have you not been?
Well, yeah, we've been, in the 90s. In the 90s, we toured a lot. You know, we were younger. This was before we had families, and we would tour every regional theater in America. You know, we were on the road 8 months a year. Now we don't tour as much. So, no, yeah, we've even gone to Tijuana. We've even played down there at the Cultural Center. You know, but we've never been to Europe. That's something that I wish we would have done.
Maybe after this pandemic goes away, that would be a nice.
Yeah.
Trip. Yeah, indeed. There's a gentleman's name that I know you know, Jose Luis Valenzuela.
Oh, yes.
Recent guest.
Valenzuela, the director of the Latino Theater Company in LA.
Yes.
Yeah, he was instrumental in bringing us, Culture Clash, down from San Francisco to Los Angeles, and introducing us to a huge audience that embraced us. And that was in 1990. Yeah, he directed our first play here in LA called The Mission, and then A Bowl of Beans. And A Bowl of Beans became a big sensation. It was even it was taped for grand performances for PBS. So he's a major character in our story, in our history. Yeah.
We had the pleasure of having him on the show recently. And like you said, he's a gentleman. He is a gentleman. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go into your acting career, sir. In your first IMDb actor credit came in the role of Colonel Mokhtar And, yeah,
let's skip that one.
called Sadie, 1988.
Yeah, we're gonna have to skip that one.
You got a problem with that?
We're gonna have, I can't believe you brought that one up.
Oh yes, it was your first one. It was your first.
Well, I was 17. I think I was 20. I was 20. I was in a little theater group, and I had a friend who worked for the Mitchell brothers. Now I don't know if you know the Mitchell brothers in San Francisco, but they were a huge film company. But they did films that are not that weren't that's I can't believe you brought that up.
Well, wait till you see what else you got for
But
you.
I just acted in it. Let's just put it this way. I just acted in. I did much more than that.
Yes, you had the role of the Colonel Mokhtar.
Yeah, I played a Laotian officer. Imagine. Yeah,
Yes.
it was okay to do that back then,
Yeah, it was.
right? You could play anybody.
Yes. And then for some reason, only you know, for 12 years until 1992, you didn't do any television or film, anything like that.
No. I was in San Francisco. Just being an artist. A lot of people don't know that I'm a visual artist too. I'm a visual artist, and I've exhibited around the world, and I'm a silkscreen artist. See, this piece behind me here is a piece I did last year for Black Lives Matter. See right there, boom.
Oh yes, nice.
Yeah.
Take a look, folks. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Any of your products for sale, sir?
Huh?
Any of your products for sale?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
How can people get it?
They can on Facebook. They can look for me on Facebook.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, I was a visual artist for a long time, and the culture clash happened. And culture clash. We weren't looking to do theater. I mean, TV and film. We wanted to concentrate on theater. So that's why I don't have a lot of TV and film credits.
But you came back in 1992 with a raw. You had the Encino Man.
Right. That's exactly. Encino Man is we're proud of that because it's kind of a cult classic from the 90s.
Yes.
And the three of us were hired as a group, and we were in that film, and that was Brandon Fraser's first film.
Okay. Nice. All right. From 1999 to 2002, you did a TV series called Mission Hill.
Yes. I'm a voiceover actor. It's a really interesting cartoon where I voiced an artist, a Latino artist, much like me.
Okay. One of the good things, you got a great voice, courtesy of the man upstairs. I always tell people.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah, beautiful. I've heard you. I've seen you work. But we'll see some more, particularly when you get there with Tom. Anyway, we'll get about that. In the next year, 2003, you took on the role of a famous Latino actor named Canton Flash in a movie called The Movie Pitch. Roll it, Tony.
No, sí, oui. Como dicen los franceses, se la vi. Y si no se la vi, ¿dónde se la estaba escondiendo, verdad, joven? ¡Ay! Ahora, hay momentos en la vida que son verdaderamente momentáneos. Y no es que uno diga, sino que hay que ver. ¿Y qué vemos? Pues eso es lo que hay que ver. Porque qué casualidad, compañeros, que poniéndose en el caso donde no hay caso, pues mejor nos vamos a la que sigue, ¿verdad?
Wow. To take on a gentleman like that, he meant a lot to a lot of Latino actors and actresses. He did so much.
Yeah. I took on big shoes there.
Yes.
Is beloved not only in Mexico but all Spanish-speaking countries.
Yes.
And I guess that defined my career for sure as an actor, as a comedian. And after that, I started doing that. I started doing biographies, and I started taking on other people. Great figures of the 20th century, But Cantinflas was very, very important figure in
What was your favorite scene in what you did with him?
Oh man, it's hard to think about it, but I used to love to dance like him. He used to have this little thing, right? This little jiggle, and his pants would fall down. So he had the baggy pants way before the urban youth did.
Gotcha. They stole his idea.
Yeah, I think they stole his idea. Yeah.
Right, my goodness. The year was 2011, and you and Tom Hanks got together for the movie Larry Crow. Roll it.
Crown, yeah, Crown.
Crown's up.
Boss of this kitchen. You know why? Because I'm tough, but I'm fair.
Tough but fair.
You still want to work for me or can't?
If you can use me.
Can I use you? Que la chica. Hey, Nick, how many jobs you got?
3, and I coach a little league.
How long has it been since you manned the kitchen anyway?
It's been a few years.
Orale. Bang this bad boy out. Then we'll see.
Gave him some hell, didn't you?
Well, Tom Hanks is from the Bay Area, so he was happy to have us. He remembered us, and he's just the nicest guy,
Yeah.
He's from Oakland, he's from Oakland, and so, and we're from the Bay Area, so we got along with him really well. Yeah, that was great. That was fun.
Yes. He wrote it. Let's see, what else did he do? He wrote it, directed, and starred in the movie. Yes.
Yes, it was great. It was there's a lot of different actors in it. Yeah.
That's you. You've been rolling ever since that movie, sir. 2017 Coco, Oscar-winning animation feature with your voice prominently featured in the movie. Where you keep your Oscar?
Oh, no, they didn't give us an Oscar. No.
Doggone it.
They only gave the Oscar to the producers. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's in
Yeah.
charge?
No, that's another thing I'm very proud of, because it's a milestone. That was a real milestone as far as Latinx, culture and entertainment, because, they just don't get us right, in Hollywood. They just don't get us right. But this time, the producers at Pixar, these people went to Mexico. They interviewed people. They really did a research.
Okay.
And originally, I was hired as a consultant, just as a cultural consultant. I went up to Pixar to look at what they were doing, and they showed me the rough cuts of the movie. And I was very impressed with all the research they did and how good they were getting it. And but while I was in the table, I took advantage. While I had all the producers in front of me, and I go, I can do voices, and they're like, oh yeah, you're from Culture Clash, yeah. Why don't we, And then a month later, they called me up to Pixar, and I went on and did 2 voices. Yeah. So you got to take advantage of where, if you're around the table with the producers, you better pitch. Otherwise, no harm asking, right?
Right. No harm. And you can also say that then back in the old days, if you were a waitress in a store, at some producer store, you were a star and other things. But now you got to do other things. You got to sing. You got to do like voices like you have. You become an asset, not a liability.
Right.
Indeed. And let's see, what else? 2020, you did Gentafeel, a comedy TV series.
Hentified, yeah, it's called Hentified.
Okay.
It's a knockoff of gentrification,
That thing,
yeah, it's about gentrification in Boyle Heights. And it's produced by America Ferrara, and it's produced by young Latinx writers and producers. So very proud of that. And they just got picked up for a 2nd season, so hopefully I'm back on that.
Good. What kind of roles do you look for when you're out there?
You know what? I don't look for them. I write them. And that's the difference. If you look for them, you're not. You're gonna sit around the telephone all your life. So since the beginning with Culture Clash, we've written our ticket. I'm a writer, and if I want to, play somebody, I write that play, and I'll play that person. That's how Picasso happened. Picasso is somebody I've been wanting to perform and portray for years.
Okay.
And I was 7 years old when I saw my first Picasso, and I said, "Wow, I want to be that guy. I want to be that old man that paints like that." And and it happened. I became Picasso.
Right. Tell us about that. The show you do a solo show called A Weekend with Pablo Picasso.
Yes, like I said, when I was 7 years old, I saw a book of Picasso, and I told my mom, when I grow up, I want to be this man. And there's certain pieces of art that are that are just instrumental in one's life. And I think that's a piece where it took me my whole life to produce, to develop, because I waited until I turned 50. When I turned 50, that's when I went to the San Diego Rep and I said, you know what, I want to write a play about Picasso.
Yes.
At the age of 76. And they said, okay, write it. And so I wrote it, and I wrote it.
76?
Yeah, Picasso was 76.
Oh, I was going to say, because you don't hear
no. Picasso was 76, but I wanted to portray him at 76. And so so I've been doing this play for 10 years, so I'm aging into it.
Gotcha.
I'm aging into it.
Mm-hmm.
I need less and less makeup, let's put it that way. But the play has gotten a lot better because I've become a better actor.
Yes.
Become a better painter. And so it's really at its peak right now.
Right.
And so when Los Angeles Theater Works approached me to do the recording of it, we were a little afraid, well, how are we going to translate it into audio when it's a visual play?
Right.
But I just heard it and it's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. They did a great job with the audio and the Foley, and the philosophy of Picasso is so profound and so beautiful that you really don't need to see what he's painting. You just have to hear what he's talking about.
Now this on-demand viewing starts what, March the 6th?
Yes, March 6th. The viewing, yes. I have a recorded version and I have a video version of it.
Okay. How do you get both or either one?
Well, the March 6th one is, I guess that's Caltech. That's through Caltech, yeah. And then the Los Angeles Theater Works version is going to be on, that's going to come out in April. So just log on to Los Angeles Theater Works, yeah.
Right. Wow. What's your favorite work about Picasso? You seem to like him very much. You've seen his work.
He had so many styles, and it depended on the era, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you ask me, like, Guernica is the most famous political piece of art you will ever see. It's so profound, and it's just so amazing how he captured that, the anguish and the horrors of war, with that piece. That was a very important piece for his life as well. Yeah.
How do we get tickets?
Like I said, Los Angeles Theater Works is the audio version, and then the Caltech is the film version.
Okay. There's no phone number or website.
I'm sorry. I'm not. But you could just get on the websites.
Okay. Sounds good. What else is on your plate, sir?
I'm like I said, I'm the playwright in residence at the San Diego Rep, and I have a lot of projects, a lot of plays that I've written over these years, because basically they're just paying me to write plays, and that's just so I'm so blessed with that. They're giving me a living wage to just sit down and write plays, and so I have, and I'm just stockpiling a lot of plays. I'm writing a play right now you might find interesting. It's called Isaac Asimov, Grandmaster Funk. Isaac Asimov, the writer, the science fiction writer. I'm going to play him with the big, sideburns.
Yeah.
So he makes friends with a African American robot. Mm-hmm.
Tried that one yet?
Yeah. And there's funk music in it. So I like mashups. I like to mash up my. I'll take two different ideas and mash them up and see what happens.
Oh my goodness. Because we're running out of time, so I want to thank you so much for being here today. Hope we see you again. Keep on
you'll
going.
see me again. Thank you so much.
You betcha. Ladies and gentlemen, Herbert Siguenza. Take care.
Bye-bye.
If you have a product, a service, or an upcoming event that you'd like to see advertised on this program, please call 323-533-1036. That's 323-533-1036. Our prices are very affordable, and we thank you. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it.
Come check out the show.
Color Night's production, Life, Deal With It, Live. Cab Calloway's Trumpeter. You'll see life's trials and tribulations.
Even though I know it's just pretend, I love it when you visit now.
All right, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today is a woman on a mission, working to build her community, Camden, New Jersey, quote, using the arts as the hammer. The video that you just saw is a perfect example of what she has done so far. There's more to come. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the founding artistic director of the Camden Repertory Theater, Desi P. Shelton. Desi,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, my dear. I read the paperwork on you and went, no, she didn't. You have done a whole lot of stuff. Impressive article. As I said, how do you explain what you're doing?
I don't even, crazy. You already know what that is. Insane nuts. Who comes back to their community, city like Camden, and create theater? So, but I love it. You know how it is in this field. It has to call you. You can't go chasing after it. It calls you. So it called me, and I just said, I was crazy enough to say, yes, I'll do it. I'll go. And that's where I am right now, showing up.
Okay. Because you got the education. You got a BA from Northeastern University and an MFA in theater from Sarah Lawrence College. Sarah Lawrence College. Not bad. Not bad. And after all that education, you came back home to Camden.
Yeah, well, I always say Sarah Lawrence was the best education I've ever received in my formal education in life. And small liberal arts college, and I say all the time, I had no idea I would leave there wanting to save the world. You leave these small liberal arts colleges wanting to save the world, and I got bit, and I came back to save it, and I say that all the time. And I don't know if I'm saving it or it's saving me. And gotcha. I really think with all that's going on, Camden is probably saving me.
Now, you did a few plays of yourself. Tony, could you put that number 34 up there for us so you can see it? One of the plays that you did a lot of work. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. What it says, written and directed by Desi P. Shelton. Aha. So he was busy, right? What's it like writing plays? Where do you get your ideas from?
I never wanted to do it. I never wanted to do it. Yes. I argued with my professor, Stuart Spencer, and because I just felt our voices were missing from the canon. I mean, from the Camden, the urban voice was missing. Woman's voice was missing from the canon. And at that time, everybody was telling our stories but us. And I talk about that. It was Tyler Perry was doing Medea, and what is that? Mama, other comedian. It was 3 plays out. Eddie Murphy was dressed up as a woman in the other play. Lawrence Martin. Yes, and Lawrence Martin. Eddie Murphy was dressed up as a woman. Martin Lawrence was dressed up as a woman. And they were all doing plays at the time. I'm like, well, goodness, don't one of us get to tell our story from this lens, not just from this social economic lens. So he was like, Desi, nobody cares. Just do it. That's what the art is for. And I did it. And I left Sarah Lawrence with my one-woman show. I Killed My Baby's Daddy. And it was so well received in wherever we went. It was just really a hit. And it spoke, even though I wrote it for Black women, it really spoke to women, period. And that I had no idea when I wrote that it was going to be such a play that resonated with women, no matter what color you are, no matter how much you made, no matter what your education was, I guess. And that's the deal, right? Being hurt, being scorned, and trying to navigate your way through that is a universal story. So
that was your first play.
Yes. And I said I wasn't doing it anymore because it cost so much, right? It just cost so much to write that. In the inside, it cost so much. Did it in the class using autobiography as fiction. And I'm like, I'm not doing this again. This was too much, pulling that out of me. And then you start listening, you hear the stories, and I'm like, oh gosh. Then I wrote my next one, Blank for Sale, because they said this is a PG show.
Yes.
So I wrote Blank for Sale. And that is where you watched. I was sitting on the porch. I was standing on the porch, and I lived upstairs, and downstairs, the sex worker lived downstairs from me. So we would be on the porch talking, and and I asked her, how did she get into her field? And I asked her, when was the first time she ever got high? She said at 12 years old. And that was so foreign to me. Being from Camden, and people think that we all, but that getting high at 12 years old was so foreign to me. So she told me her story. And I was like, how can I not be judgmental, number one, and think that I am better, and think that I am that coming with this elitist attitude, and understanding that if it wasn't for the grace of God, that could be me. You never know where life's twists and turns are going to take you. And then I was getting ready to go to a barbecue, and my girlfriend was picking me up, and she said, and she was crying over a broken heart by another man. And I'm like, I'm looking at this on one hand and this on the other, and that's where I started. It started coming together, and I was like, well, we have to talk about this in our community. So
I'm laughing because that's what we are. It's our culture.
Yes, absolutely.
That's us.
Yes, and I'm not afraid of it, right? I'm not, and they're harsh titles, and that's like to play child support, right? You got to face it. Yeah, yes. You have to face it, and that's what my plays really do. They ask women, at what point do we hold ourselves accountable? Yeah. At what point do we stop blaming others? And that's what I always want to, because that's what I'm asking myself, right? Any situation that I've gotten into personally, or I find myself in, at what point was that seed planted by Desi, not by anyone else? It's easy for us to say, oh, it's your fault, you did this to me, and really believe that. And you can navigate your life like that. Or you can say, let me own a piece of this. Let me own some of my stuff.
But you heard from your friends and your neighbors complain that A, they were not welcome at local university venues, B, they had no artistic outlets in Camden, and C, that stories are being left untold. Roll it, Coney.
I'm Desi Shelton Sack, born and raised in Camden. I'm proud to be a Camden native. I live in Camden now, and I wasn't always proud to be from Camden. And there was a period in my high school, during my high school years, where I was probably ashamed. Yeah, I was ashamed to be from Camden. I used to lie and tell people I lived in Cherry Hill. But over the years, we grow, we mature, we develop, and we understand that where we are, if you deny who you are, you will never, ever be able to really go where God or the universe, whoever you want to call it, has for you to go in life and fulfill your purpose.
As I looked at that soundbite, what you have to say was your final words that got me, and that was, fulfill your purpose. That's how you felt. That's an interview that I found. And I said, my goodness, this lady has been doing it. You got a lot on your shoulders, a lot on your back, work to do. Like we said at the top of the show, a woman on a mission. So you founded Camden Rep. What's your logo? Let's take a look at your logo. Here's your logo. Okay. And you need, there's your logo. And you need some space. There it is. Thank you, Tony. There it is. That's your logo. Looks nice. Very upstanding. But you also needed a space. Yes. And here's a picture. People don't understand. Here's a picture of the site of the Camden Repertory Theater. Look at that. A building. A pink building. Wow. Girl, you something else. Woo. Thank you, Tony. Wow. Like we, so, okay, you got all the stuff behind, all the things that are out there, but what year did you start the actual Repertory Theater?
The idea came in when I was in London on a London theater tour. And I'll never forget laying in the bed, and to this day I can still see the window and everything in the room.
Yes.
And And I remember having this spiritual conversation. I'm like start a theater company. I'm like, but I ignored it. I'm like, yo, you didn't send me all the way. You didn't bring me all the way to London to tell me to start a theater company. So then I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So I got the job at the Walt Whitman Arts Center. That was in 2004. So then in the fall of 2004, I got the job at the Walt Whitman Arts Center, hired as the artist in residence there. And they did all kinds of arts, but I knew I wanted to focus on women's issues. So that's when I said, so maybe like in 2006, how you doing? I said to my artistic director at the time, I think I want to start a theater company. But I felt like I was cheating and unfaithful because, you know, faithfulness in the hood is everything, you know. Everything. And he was like, no, that's what great art centers do, Desi. They give birth to other visions and others. So I was like, so I started it under that umbrella, and they helped. I got my first piece of funding by a guy from Camden, Khalil Morrell, who was working, and his job had given him a discretionary grant that at the end of the year you can give this funding. I think it was $2,500 to any nonprofit you want. And he had come, saw I killed my baby's daddy, thought about the Camden rep, and gave it to the Walt Women Arts Center, because at that time we didn't have our 501c3, and earmarked for Camden rep, and that was it. And we were cooking. We started cooking with gas. So, and at first I started with a graphic designer. I put together the season in my head, and I watched Cinderella Man, and he had nothing. And I got up from there and I was like, that's it. I'm doing it. And I did it. And we did it right there. Beautiful facility, Walt Women Arts Center was, before they ripped out the stage, as if we need to rip out any stages in the city of Camden, and turned it into a classroom. And it was just really beautiful, nice and intimate space. And I mean, when you understand gentrification, you understand why that happened in the space that it happened. And it was the only space at the time open to the community, open to anybody. It was very diverse. She did a great job, Pamela Bridgeforth, of making you feel welcome and also giving you quality art. Quality art. So many great writers came through there. So many great actors came through there. Singers, vocalists, everything. She just did a great job. To this day, I'm chasing her. I am chasing what she did, because she held such a high standard, and I have no other choice but to say that's the bar for me.
How many plays have you done so far?
I try not to count.
Okay.
I'm serious. I try, because in 2010 I started breaking out and doing. I saw that we had no holiday production, or our children couldn't go see anything. Like, I talk about how my grandmother, we got dressed up in our Rothschild coats and our muffs and our hats and our patent leather Mary Janes, and we would go up to New York to see the Rockettes, Radio City Music Hall, during Christmas time. And that experience was amazing for me. And I felt like kids of color in Camden didn't have that experience, and I wanted to bring them that experience. I wanted to bring it to them. So we started a musical. We started out with John Steptoe's Mufaro's Beautiful Daughter. I got the baddest composer in the world. When I tell you the baddest composer, I don't even know why he puts up with my stuff. And we just, and he wrote all original music for it. We put it up, and it was quenching a thirst. It was quenching, you know how you have a thirst or a taste for something that you didn't even know you had a taste for? Yeah. And that was 2010, and we started spitting out children's musicals, or they're really family musicals ever since, taking a book, adapting it, putting it on stage. We won awards for doing that, New Jersey State Arts Council awards for doing that. We take it to the DC Black Theater Festival every year, and Glenn Allen down there really expects it. Even when my mother was sick and I was taking care of her, and he looking at me like, we got people that need to still see this. And then thank God my mother always taught me the show must go on, because I'm like, we still have to do it. So.
Who's your audience? Who are the people that come to see your plays?
No, don't make me tell the truth. Oh my goodness, don't make me tell the truth.
Did my research.
It's the heart-wrenching part of it is my draw, my Philadelphia draw is 3% larger than my Camden draw. And that's painful because I do it for Camden. And then I have my own producer when I do it in Philadelphia, right? So when we did the Real Housewives of Camden, I do it here. Then when I go to Philadelphia, I adapt it a little bit. And then I have another guy over there that just produces my things over there for Philadelphia. So, but it's really my draw. When I looked at the marketing report, I'm like, oh my gosh. But I'm grateful. Philly's not scared to come over the bridge. Camden might be scared to go over Philly's bridge.
We can say all the publicity that you're getting now is going to increase for sure.
Wow. Wow.
It takes a while.
I received that.
Where do you get actors and actresses to play? How do you get them?
Regular auditions, and we have this formula where, because we have such a prominent arts education piece, preparing artists for college entrance, that started by my partner Jamal Dickerson, amazing program. Arnetta Johnson came out of that program. JoJo Streeter. Arnetta Johnson she's the trumpet for Beyonce's last tour. She came out of there. I mean, just amazing students, sending them to college. That was my goal, to send them away.
Gotcha.
Get them out of here. So we have like 4 Oberlin grads, 6 Berklee College of Music grads, UPenn grads, UCLA grads. I can go on and on. Spelman grads, Wiley College, Jackson State. I can go, and that's what I'm really, really proud of, because I remember arguing with my partner our first year, and he was saying how the kids could stay local, and I'm like, they can't. I said, you need to put some distance between poverty and them for 4 years, just for 4 years. Give them a chance to breathe and see something else and understand something else and see another part of the country, because how we act in the North is different how they act down South, different how you act out West. You know, it's totally different how people act. So let them understand another culture right here in our great America. Let them understand how people work there. What was the question? I started talking about those kids. And
we get your actors and actresses from. Here's my next question.
So it's a combination. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Desi P. Shelton, have you ever been out to Hollywood to see what we have out here?
I have. I went to Burbank to visit, and I've hightailed out of Hollywood. I have a good girlfriend, T. Jones. She's a producer. We went to undergrad together, and I keep saying I'm coming out there to see her.
Ain't nothing stopping you but you.
I need to come. I've been out there. What's my favorite restaurant out there? Where they sell the crack
chicken
crab?
place, Roscoe's Chicken.
No, they sell the crack crab.
Oh, yeah. There's a couple of them.
Yeah.
There's a couple.
Yes.
Okay.
I will come back because I love food. Yes.
Can I tell you a little secret about Hollywood?
Please.
Okay. People come out here with illusions of grandeur. They do television. They do film. But Lord have mercy, a lot of them folks don't get up on that stage. They don't. And that's my biggest bone against actors and actresses. Get up on that stage. Forget the stage play. Get over it.
Yes.
There's no take 2. Get on to it.
That's what I love it.
Right.
It's the ice. Like they say, come on out here and skate on this ice. Right.
Thank you.
Nobody's going to say stop and do it again. Yes, my acting teacher, Michael Early, told us that. He was like, oh, yeah, every night you get to go out there and skate on the ice.
What's those words that we say? The smell of the grease paint, the roar of the crowd. Was my favorite one. Break a leg, break a leg.
Yes.
That's what y'all do. That's the beautiful thing about repertory theater. One of my dear friends is out in New York City, a guy named Woody King. You know Woody King?
Yes, who doesn't know Woody King? Yes, I don't know him personally, but you better know him.
Right.
You better.
Right.
Wow.
Repertory theaters, to me and to you and to a lot of people, they love, and I mean big L, big O, big D, big D. They love theater. They get up on that stage.
Yes, and that's one of my goals, to make sure that the next generation never forgets of Woody King.
Yes.
Right? Even in coming out of Camden, like you have to know his name. You have to know who he is. You have to know the contribution made. And that's it, to keep these names alive, because as we move to different mediums, the next generation wants to move to IGTV and all of these things. It's important, like you said, to have, and the people that can really do it, and I can say it because I'm in Camden, the people that can really do it well, they're not afraid of that stage. They go toward that stage. They do that stage. So,
got a couple of pictures that we want to show. These are some past performances that was done at Repertory. There's one. Remember that one? And there's another one. Remember that one? And then there's one more. There's one more. It's a knife in it. Oh, I killed my baby's daddy. What? Oh, I mean, that assistant sitting there with a bad look on her face, with a big knife in her hand, and blood is on it. My dear, when I saw that, I went, no, she didn't. No, she didn't. Desi, go to your room. That was too much. That's because that's the truth. We're black people. There's a lot of things that happen in our culture. We don't want to talk about it, but sometimes we want to talk about it. We need to talk about it.
We have to talk about it.
We
have to talk about it.
Yes, ma'am. What advice do you or would you give to someone who wants to get into acting?
Know your why. Know your why. They just asked me to teach this class. And that is my thing with actors. Know why. If you are doing this because you want to be a celebrity, don't know if you're going to last. But if your why is bigger than you, then your work will probably be powerful. It'll help you with the endurance that you need in order to sustain when the world wants to tell you no. You get to go back to your why, and that is what keeps you going. Know your why. Why do I want to be an actor? Know your why.
Did you see the Golden Globes last night?
No.
Did you hear about it?
No. Tell me about it. Should I be embarrassed that I didn't hear about it?
No. The world is big. No, it was very diverse. There was some talk of scandal in the fact that the organization that puts on the show, it's the Hollywood Foreign Film Festival. It's the foreign press in Hollywood, the foreign press, and there's no blacks in there. These are people who are all over the world. These are entertainment reporters who are from all over the world, but there's no blacks, and a lot of people are concerned about that, particularly when you got Africa, which of course has a lot of blacks in it. You know, you can find somebody in there, but maybe next year they'll do better. We'll see. You talk about funding, getting money to the 501c3. How do you get your funding?
Well, we do grants. We try to make sure we just was funded in August by the William Penn Foundation, which was a major win for Camden Rec. The Geraldine Dodge Foundation has been funding us, I want to say, since 2012. And we do like our ancestors have always done. We make it work with what we have, right? Don't spend more than you owe. And that's why that little pink building came about, because I was like, I'm tired of sharecropping. I don't want to owe anybody more in rental fees than I made. And so now we're in the process with the architects of getting that rehab. So it's something that, even though I'm proud of that phase, it's like I always say, if I can get a woman to get up off the bar stool and come see a play, I want her to experience theater, even if it's a micro theater, even if it's a micro version of a theater in a tiny theater. I want her to experience theater at the level she can have it at the public theater, no matter where you are. So we, of course, still didn't get the Wallace Foundation money, and the individual donors is, to me, a nut that haven't been able to crack. You know how other organizations have those individual donors that will write them a big check? We have yet to crack that nut, and I don't know how that happens for African American theater companies. I would love to sit down with people who are funded very extremely well and have individual donors and could share that with me. But my question really now, Ron, is has the model changed, right? And that's the question I've been asking around. Is that model broken? That whole grant funding, are we need, especially as organizations of color, do we need a different funding model?
Right.
And if I had my druthers, that's what I would spend my PhD doing. Figuring out what is a sustainable model for an organization, an arts organization of color. Now, I know what I've heard, right? They always say, I like to be honest and transparent. They always say you have to play the race game, Desi. Meaning, if you are the artistic director, then you have to have a white managing director or a white development director. That's the only way organizations, funding organizations, are going to trust you, is if they see someone that looks like themselves on your staff. And then they cite the specific examples. They were like, Alvin Ailey, they built a tower of dance that is not leaning because of that. And they go on, and they're saying, this is the, so I started looking around the country at the organizations that are sustaining and doing well, organizations led by people of color. And that does seem to be the model, that they're able to sustain. And maybe that's, so if I could fix it, if I could get my PhD, if I had time to go get my PhD, that's what I would do. I would help organizations, arts organizations that are really doing the work with the people and really affecting the people, help them find that way, the disruptive model for them to be able to sustain what they do.
On that note, my dear, I have to leave you. I want to thank you very much for being out here.
Not like I want to thank you.
No,
Not like I want to thank you for having me on, and that wonderful set design in the back that had me looking at history. I'm like, oh, I like that production design, even though I know it's not production design, but we call it everything.
Hard work, stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. People
appreciate you. Yes, appreciate you. Yes,
indeed. Best wishes and Godspeed.
You too.
Thanks to our sponsors, Harvey Branford. Photography is an art. Ron Irwin, haiku, style, passion, heart. Larry Buford's Book to the Future, time travel, message in a capsule. State Farm agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Rob Brownstein's Actor Training School and Actor Space. Much thanks to our guest today, actor, director Herbert Siguenza, and of course, founding artistic director, Camden Repertory Theater, Desi P. Shelton. Of course, we want to thank all of our people who have been with us a long time, ever growing. Be well. See you next time.